What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Neeks Sports. Today we're talking about some transfer news around Manchester United. As the title says, Moises Caicedo from Independiente in Ecuador and David Alaba from, of course, the European champions, probably soon to be world champions. I'm not sure when the date is of the Club World Championship, Bayern Munich. Um, Starting off with, we've got a David Alaba one first, a bit more of a known one that a player that we've seen a lot in the last over a decade. I've been playing over in Bayern Munich on the international stage, obviously winning the Champions League last season with Bayern, and a player who can play in multiple positions. He started his career in Bayern, if I'm correct, as a left back. I think that's the first time I ever saw him as a left back. One of the best left backs. He turned into be one of the best left backs in the world. He's also then played in defensive midfield for Bayern Munich and also central midfield in a kind of a box-to-box role for Austria. I remember in the Euro 2016, it was where he was popping up at the edge of the box, taking shots, etc. So he definitely proved that he could play in a numerous positions already. And then we've seen the last year and a half, maybe 2 years, since the emergence of Alphonso Davies at left back, he's been moved into the centre back position that Bayern Munich needed filling, and he has been another, world-class player, putting in world-class performances in that position. And what's ironic about that is that those positions are exactly the positions that Man United would like to fill or feel they need to fill. Centre back, especially, specifically left-sided centre back, is one that Man United need. And I think David Alaba, with that experience, would come in and absolutely just slot right into that position. I'm not going to be concerned about having to bed in, adapt to the Premier League. He's played enough football at the highest level, different, whilst he might play in a similar style being at Bayern, he's played on different managers, even though it's in the Bundesliga. And as I said, he's played international football as well. So he coming to the Premier League, yes, it's different, but the Bundesliga is very fast-paced as it was already. We've seen how Thiago Silva, other than his debut, has come in from Ligue 1 and slotted straight into that Chelsea centre-back position like he's been there for years. So I don't think it's going to be an issue about him adapting or anything like that. I think the question is really whether we're going to get him. He can also play left back. I mean, we've got Luke Shaw, we've got Telles, so that's not a position that we're looking to net. We're looking for any reinforcements, but it's an option. Luke Shaw's always out injured, so it's an option out there. And then defensive midfield. Now we're going to get onto Caicedo when we talk about that, but he's a player who can also fill in there. So if for example we were to get another centre back, whether it's Upamecano or someone we know who we've been linked with, we could move David Alaba into that defensive midfield position, which I think is actually the position he wants to play. I think one of the reasons why he's not signing a new contract at Bayern Munich is because he wants to play in midfield. So if that's the case, then he can slot right into that midfield position and allow the attacking midfielders, the likes of Pogba, Van der Beek, and Bruno, to play knowing they've got some solidity behind. But he definitely offers a lot of variety and versatility, and it's so important. You look at someone like Fabinho, a player who we actually wanted, if you remember, from Monaco, and Liverpool went and got him. He was playing at right back in that Monaco team when they won the league and blitzed the Champions League. I think they got to the semis in the end, lost to Juventus in the semis. He was playing right back there. He came into Liverpool, took about 6 months to adapt, or before Klopp threw him into the team. And he was playing that DM, defensive midfield. Brilliant, world-class player. Van Dijk gets injured, and they move him to centre-back. And he's a quality player in that position as well. So having that experience and versatility to play in the multiple positions is what you need at the highest level. And that's why someone like David Alaba would be so crucial. Now, what is the likelihood of us getting him? I don't know. I really don't know. We're not going to get him in January. Bayern Munich are not going to sell him. Obviously, they've offered him a new contract. He's rejected it. They haven't returned to the negotiating table. So at the moment, it looks like he's pretty much stalled. He's going to move on. You see me, if we're in a position mid-January, so just say after we play Liverpool, 17th of January, and we're in a title race, if I was Man United's board and owners and manager, I'll be going hell for leather, putting down money to get David Alaba in that January. Not wait until the summer because you get him on a free. Go and say, listen, he got 6 months left. He ain't gonna sign a new contract. Here is some cash money, because if you're in a title race, then you need something that's gonna boost you, push you on a bit further. If we're in a top 4 race, then you might say, all right, cool, we just wait till the summer. Getting him now ain't gonna change much. We should be able to finish top 4 anyway without him. So there's no point blowing the transfer budget to get him now when there's no true benefit in the end. So I think mid-January, once we play Liverpool, we can be in a position where we can determine how we go about it. But as we're aware at the moment, all they've done is contact the agent about a move in the summer. But no doubt there's going to be multiple clubs going in for him. Wouldn't surprise me if Liverpool went in for him. Would not surprise me at all, because he can play centre-back. But as I said, and they obviously they sold Lovren. They didn't replace him. Matip and Gomez, between them, they're walking sick notes. They're always injured. So it wouldn't surprise me. But if he wants to play in midfield, then maybe that limits the amount of clubs that's going to go in for him. The teams that actually need a midfielder. Juventus have been known in recent years to be going after players who are on free transfers, because obviously the amount of transfer budget they blew to go and get Cristiano Ronaldo, maybe they're trying to fill in and save in those positions there. Who else? PSG, I guess that's an option. Anyone in England? Man City? Nah, I don't think back. Man City's not a bad shout, to be fair, because again, if he wants to play in midfield, in the defensive midfield position, for me, they've got Fernandinho, they've got Rodri. I don't rate Rodri that highly, but Pep does. So I'll say no. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where he really can go. Bayern, Man United, Juve, PSG, Real Madrid, Barca. I haven't really heard those links. I haven't heard those links to Real Madrid, Barca. So that would surprise me. But it's definitely an option for us. Let me go through some of the comments before we move on to the next one. Shane says he doesn't think Alaba's first choice is us. I only see us getting him if no one agrees his wage demands, but I know that Woodward and Glazers love a free transfer. Yeah, we do, but the wages is very important. We don't want to be blowing our wage structure to get David Alaba, because we end up in a situation that we had with the likes of Alexis Sanchez and others, who we're trying to get forced off the wage bill, can't get rid of players because their wages are too high, messing up the equilibrium in the dressing room when it comes to negotiating new transfers, new contracts, and future transfers of other players. They'll be like, well, David Alaba's on this, I should be on that. And you don't want to really blow it. David De Gea's on what, 300,000 a week? No one should be getting more than that. Now, David De Gea, you could argue, does he deserve it? Does he not? He earned that because of what he had done for Man United. You can't just walk in for me on those fees unless it's your Ronaldo or Messi. Let's see. 40 Live says both deals being negotiated and United are confident of completing both signings in January. I'll be surprised if when you say completing, are you saying agree when it comes to Alaba? I'm guessing you mean agree for the summer, or to actually get him to join Manchester United in January. Shane says, Neeks, would you rather Upamecano or Alaba? Because they would both be good. I personally would go for Upamecano because of his age. You know what? I got Alaba. I do think Upamecano is a better investment, but I think we need a bit of experience. I think our defense, if we're going to play him there and he's happy to play centre back, that's the key. If we're talking about centre back for centre back, I think I will go with Alaba. One, he's a left-sided centre back, left-footed, so he gives that balance. Two, I think that we need some experience, some winning experience in that back line. There's a lot of individual errors and sometimes even collective errors that I think can be weaned out with a bit of experience. Maguire's a captain, but I don't think he's a strong leader of the back line, vocal in terms of making sure people are in position. Everyone has their individual responsibility, but sometimes you need a little guidance. And I think when you bring in a winner, someone who's come from a big club like Bayern Munich, I think that will make a massive difference in the short to midterm, because he's not old. Short to midterm, than getting someone like Upamecano, who, of course, in the future is going to be world class, but he kind of goes in and he's good as an individual, but how does he improve the back line as a whole? It's a tough one. It's a very tough one. I wouldn't be surprised if the options were there, and obviously Alaba's versatility. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if the two options were there and they went for Upamecano, because, as we're gonna move on to, the transfer policy of the players we're looking to get, especially on the social, as our first choices, are often young, 25 and under. That's the kind of players we're going for. Now, moving on to Moises Caicedo, the Ecuadorian, well, now he is Ecuadorian international, 19-year-old defensive midfielder. I'm not gonna lie, I ain't seen much of him. When I say much, nothing real. I've seen 2 YouTube videos, and it wasn't anything that like, whoa, yeah, we need to get him. I don't know anything about him. I know that he's a defensive midfielder who wants to join Manchester United, who has played for Ecuador, and one of his heroes, Antonio Valencia. That's it. So the more that you lot can tell me, the better. I don't know much about him. What I do know, however, is that we need a DM. We need a number 6. We need a number 6 who can play in that role by themselves as a single pivot and allow us to get 2 creative midfielders into that midfield. The way Man City were doing with Fernandinho and David Silva and De Bruyne, that's what we need to be trying to move towards. Oftentimes, we have to sacrifice one attacking player by playing Fred and McTominay or Fred and Matic, or playing Pogba deep, whatever it might be. You sacrifice an attacking player. It's working so far, but I think if we're going to go to the next level, I need another player in there who can drive forward. It doesn't mean that they have to both be playing as 10s, but it means that one of them has a bit more license to get forward because you know the person behind can do that job. McTominay is a box-to-box midfielder. I think we saw that in all this glory against Leeds on the weekend. Fred is also a box-to-box midfielder, which has a bit more defensive nous than McTominay, but he's not a holding midfielder. He would nip at your heels and press the ball and engage in tackles, as opposed to sitting off and shielding the back line, which a defensive midfielder does. The only one we have in our team, a squad who does that, is Matic. But Matic is getting older. He was never quick, but he had more legs in like the Chelsea 2017 title winning, 2015 and 2017 title winning sides. He had more about him back then. We don't have that in our squad. Someone who can do that. Now we've been linked with, in the past we were linked with Idrissa Gueye, who obviously went to PSG. I would have loved that signing from Everton. I think he would have been absolutely perfect for us. We've also been linked with Ndidi, but we know what Leicester are going to charge when it comes to their star players. We're talking 60 to 80 million. Camavinga's one that's been mentioned. Declan Rice is an option, but the more the talk is regarding him going to Chelsea from West Ham. Man United need a defensive midfielder, and we need one very, very quickly. That is a position that I would want filling in January, whether we're in a title race or we're in a race for top 4, because I think going throughout the whole season again without that could prove costly in either of those battles if we're in a race for either of those. Indeed, it would be my first choice. And even if we were to get Caicedo for £5 million, £4.5 million, I think is the fee that is pretty much close to being done and agreed. He's 19 years old, having only played in South America and a couple caps for Uruguay. We can't expect him to come in and boost us to a title challenge or to improve us immediately. Big up Universal Boss. I tell you, it's not Universal Boss Jurgen Klopp, it's Universal Boss Chris Gale. Shane says, I don't know if Caicedo will play in the first team. Yeah, I agree. I think if he comes in, he's going to go into the youth team, the under 23s. He could even be loaned out to play in Europe. Because how many South American players are bought by big or smaller clubs in the Premier League straight from South America? Generally, they learn a bit of trade in Europe, whether it's in Portugal, or in Italy, anything like that, and then we go and buy them. Most of them, most of the South American players we buy do not directly come from the continent of South America. So to bring him over here at 18, 19 years old and expect him to hit the ground running and lift the team in the way that Bruno Fernandes did when he came in January would be so unfair and unrealistic to expect that of him. And I don't expect that of him. Big up Adam Talk Sports. He hit 40 subs. Go and check out his channel, guys. So I think look at Pelestri. We signed Pelestri on deadline day, and he's coming. He hasn't played a game for us in the first team. He comes straight from Uruguay. Of course, he needs to get used to the country, the culture, the language, the club, everything. He has to get used to it. And I'm expecting the same if we do complete the signing of Caicedo. So even if we get him, it doesn't, for me, stop us going and getting a defensive midfielder who comes in straight into the first team squad. That should not deter. It's the same way we're looking at Pelestri, who's been doing well in the under-23s, as Adam Talk Sports says. The same way we look at, obviously, Diallo, that is pretty much done based on the work permit. I think that's been agreed, and that transfer is going to happen in the first week of January from Atalanta. And even though we got those youngsters, we're still being linked to the likes of Jadon Sancho, someone who will come in and go straight into the first team squad. Now, Adama Diallo is much more likely to go straight into the first team squad than Pelestri. But again, what are you going to expect from him? You expect him to come in and be peak Ronaldo? It's not going to happen. I mean, I hope it happens. I hope he comes in and absolutely kills it. But I think it's unlikely. It's a pipe dream, and it's pressure that we don't really need to hand to these players. So for me, I think get a defensive midfielder as well as go and get this Caicedo from Independiente Ecuador. What this tells me about our transfer policy is clearly that we're looking to look, 40 Live literally just said it as I was about to come out and said it. Neeks, players like Caicedo, Pelestri, Diallo are all part of the new recruitment system. I was literally just about to say that these are players. We're obviously looking to get much younger players from abroad, bring them into the academy, kind of get them into the Manchester United way, and then get them into the first team. And it's different to what we've done, let's say post Fergie, where we've just gone to the biggest clubs to get their best players and just buy them for big money. And we've kind of neglected the youth aspect, bringing people. Not that we haven't brought youth through, because when you're a top talent, you're a top talent. But I remember someone saying to me, if Anthony Martial and Wayne Rooney weren't injured on that day against Midtjylland, when would Rashford have come through the academy? It was only because both of them were injured. When would they have come through? We need to return to, and that's what one thing Solskjaer has done, is return to bringing player and targeting young players either in the academy or looking to get the best of the youngsters out there, the likes of Hannibal. There was 2 youngsters we signed, I think it was from Real Madrid and Barcelona youth academies. Things may change now with the new laws regarding Brexit, etc., in terms of what ages you can bring people over. So it may be a case of you buy them, you leave them on loan across Europe, feeder clubs and that kind of thing, and then bring them over to England when they're of age to meet those criteria. But yeah, it definitely goes to show the new recruitment strategy that we have at Man United under Solskjaer in terms of bringing in young players and developing them in the Manchester United way. But as I said, it shouldn't stop us from also going and getting the best talent that goes straight into the first team squad. You have to do both. You can't just get the youngsters and hope, because when you get those youngsters, all of them ain't gonna bang. All of them, Hannibal has a big future ahead of him, but there's no guarantee he's going to come in and be the success that we want him to be. Of course, I hope he will, and I think he can, but there's no guarantee. A lot of players have come from Man United's academy, and we don't really see them anymore. One person, it's not necessarily I guess it's some relation to Man United, in Renato Sanchez. Remember, he was supposed to come to us in 2016, Went to Bayern Munich instead. It didn't work out there, flopped. Went to Swansea, flopped. Now he's moved to Leeds and it's working. There's no guarantee, and now he's been linked to Liverpool. There's no guarantee that you can just come in and because you got talent, it's gonna work. So I think we need to mix both the international or the continental recruitment, international recruitment really, because obviously Caicedo's from South America, as well as finding the best players. And I don't mind going to Premier League proven players when you're looking to get the best, because that's what we did when we were at our heights in the Premier League. We said, who are the best? Who's the best players in the Premier League? Let's go and get them. And I know it's not as easy now with so much money floating around, but it's still possible. We went out, we said, all right, we need a centre back. Of course, we couldn't get Van Dijk of Liverpool, couldn't get Company, Laporte, couldn't get those. So we went and got Maguire, the best of the rest in terms of from top, outside the top six. I mean, he's better than a lot in the top six anyway. Went out and got Maguire. We're linked with Jack Grealish, the best of the rest outside of the big six. We're linked with Ndidi. Those are the big signings I kind of want to make. Jadon Sancho. But of course, you have to also continue to feed and replenish your youth system to make sure that those players come through. So this January, I expect, other than Diallo, which obviously that transfer was done on deadline day in October, other than that, I do expect a couple more signings, whether they're going to go straight into the first team or not. I would like at least one signing to go straight into the first team, other than Adama. No, I say Adama, it's Amad Diallo. So a centre back or a defensive midfielder, I think, is the most likely. A right winger in Jadon Sancho. Did someone mention Sancho? Someone did mention Sancho. 40 Lives. No, Adam Talks Sports said, so 40 Live, is Sancho pissed off because Dortmund put the price too high and he wanted to join United? 40 Live says 100% correct. And we know his season right now is not going very, very well. But I can't see that transfer happening in January. We know that Pogba is looking to leave, but again, that's unlikely to happen in January, probably the end of the summer. We can get in a defensive recruitment, whether it's defensive midfield or centre back in January. And in the summer, we're going to go for me, a big money attacking midfield, attacking player. So whether that's a right winger in Jadon Sancho, there's talks about Jack Grealish still, that's not going to go away. And I mean, Haaland talk ain't going to go until he makes that move from Borussia Dortmund. Ousmane Dembele is going to be available unless he signs a new contract. There's going to be a lot. Big up Kevin Jane. Says, greetings from Ecuador. What do you think of Moises Caicedo's game? I haven't seen it. I haven't seen enough of him. I've only just seen some YouTube videos. So there's nothing for me to go on. All I can do is trust the recruitment process. That's all I can do. Mowada, 5 minutes of watching Caicedo on YouTube has me convinced, even though I never take these comps seriously. Hope we get him. Listen, Mowada, hit me up on my Twitter name right there. Send me whatever you watching, because I just saw bits of a match and there wasn't anything really to go by. He can pass. I mean, it wasn't no crunching tackles. I didn't see much. I don't know. Hala Madrid says, Madrid want Alaba, but he ain't getting into our 11. You don't rate Varane, though. So would he not get in at centre-back next to Sergio Ramos? Ian Sasa says, Sancho now worth 50 million max. Well, listen, Dortmund bit off their nose to spite their face, and now they've ended up with a player who ain't worth what they were charging in the first place. 120 million euros they wanted, 108 million pounds they wanted in a COVID market for Jadon Sancho. And now his performances have dipped. They've sacked their manager. Dortmund are struggling. They're not going to get 120 million euros this summer or any summer because his contract's only going down. Alan Madrid says, no, bro, I love Varane. You forgot I have beef with Ramos. Oh, is it Ramos you got beef with? Right, well, maybe does he get in ahead of Ramos? I don't know. I mean, Ramos is a brilliant. But there was talk about actually here that if Ramos doesn't sign a new contract, then maybe they'll go and get Alaba. But I can't see Ramos leaving. I can't see Ramos leaving Real Madrid. I can't see that happening. That'll be interesting. Shane says, I'm convinced that Sancho will eventually come, but it'll be hard to get because the Euros is happening in the summer, but we won't get him in January transfer. Yeah, you definitely won't get him in January. Can't see that happening. He's got 2 years. Sorry, guys, 1 second. My battery's about to die. Yeah, he's got 2 years left on his contract at the end of this summer, end of the season. Because remember, the Dortmund chief executive, I think it was Michael Zorc, came out and kind of revealed that there was an extra year that they agreed on last season. So he's actually got 2 years left at the end of this season. So yeah, it's not 1 year, but it's still one less year than he had this year. So I can't, and a poor season so far, unless he does something mad in the second half, they ain't gonna get 120 million euros for him. They were never gonna get 120 million euros for him. What they did was they thought Man United were gonna cave. They thought we were gonna cave because we've done it in the past. But we have to move away from that. We cannot be. We have to say that. Look at Man City. Man City, with a lot of players they've bought for big money, they haven't bought any players for more money than we have. Their record signing is Riyad Mahrez for about 60 million, I think it is. But obviously they've got a lot of 40, 50 million players, but none of them that goes well above that. That's why they didn't go in for Maguire, for example. They had a price that they set for Jorginho. Napoli went to increase that when Chelsea came in for him. They said, no, we're not going to go for him. Same thing happened with Fred. They have their price and they stick to their price. But what we need to do is when we stick to the price and we know they're not going to budge, we move on. We move on from it and get other deals done, or don't let it drag out and dragging the fans through the mire thinking we're going to get this player. Don't do that. That's why the summer that we had was poor. But yeah, listen, for me, a lot of people were like, when the Sancho deal died in October, a lot of people were like, yeah, we're never going to get him now. I'm like, that's not why. Everyone else is going to be in for him in the summer. But I'm like, COVID is still here. There's still no fans in the grounds, or very, very minimal fans in the grounds. The money is still very, very tight. Why are you so sure that everyone's going to have money next year to go for Sancho? The only way that's going to happen is the price drops. Now, the question then becomes, does Sancho want to join us or join someone else? But in terms of everyone now having money next year, that's not how it works. People are going to have less money next year because they've had a whole season and a half or so, season and a half, let's say, of no fans in the ground. So, yeah, I think the Sancho deal will still be a possibility. Kevin says, I'm from Ecuador and believe that Moises Caicedo is a great player with a lot of talent, and he's 18 years old with a great future ahead of him. He's the best player that Ecuador has today. That's a big, big statement, which makes me excited if we do get him. If the signing is given, they take a very talented player, and he's a starter in the national team. He's a Man United fan and wants to become like Antonio Valencia. Yeah, I did the last two things. I'm very much aware of that in terms of Valencia and him being a Man United fan. Listen, as I said, I would take him 100%. And it's 4.5 million. Like, even if it doesn't work out, it's 4.5 million. Man United wipe their ass with 4.5 million. The Glazers get 5 times the amount of that when they do the bloody dividends. 4.5 million is nothing for us. I'm sure it'll be a lot for Independiente. Get him, but don't throw him straight in. Give him time to develop. You've seen what, I don't want a situation like you've got with Renato Sanchez, where then he has to leave the country, as in on a permanent, not even just on loan, to then find himself. Allow him to grow without the pressure at Manchester United, like what's happening with Pellistri. Imagine Pellistri came straight into the team and our performances at the start of the season continued when he was in the team. That'd be so much pressure. Look at Dan James. Dan James last year was supposed to come in and be a backup. We had all these injuries and we didn't get all the players we wanted and needed in the certain positions. Dan James has to go straight into the team. Starts off well, but he tails away. And his career is looking like it could be over at Manchester United when he should never be in that position. This season should be the season where Dan James, if he's got the quality, is to be pushing into try to get in the first team, especially as we didn't get a right winger in this summer. He should have been learning his trade last summer without any pressure, and in last season, and then this season trying to get into the first team. But we went the wrong way around, and now he's out of the team, trying to regain his form and confidence and that kind of stuff. So we'll see what happens with him, and we have to learn how we do better with some of our younger players in the future. Muhammad Ali, Simon Edwards, South American expert, said he could start now and do a fine job, but he needs a couple months, and he could dominate games. He is that good. That's the thing. He could start now. He could do a job, but equally, he could start now. We could ruin him, or it might not work straight away. You look at when we signed Nemanja Vidic and Patrice Evra, they both came from Europe. So stronger leagues. Not saying they are obviously turned out to be absolute legends for Manchester United, but they came to Man United in the first 6 months, they were horrible. And it wasn't until the next season, after they found their feet, that boom, they hit the ground and they became the players that they are and that we know of them today. So if we go into January or mid-January after we play Liverpool, we're in a title race, I'm not expecting Caicedo to come in and push us over the edge like Bruno did. If he does, brilliant. But I think we can go and get him at the age that he's at and still go and get a world-class defensive player, whether that's a centre-back or a defensive midfielder, to give us something more to go and win the title. The attacking players are all there. Hala Madrid says Madrid needs Sancho if we can't get Mbappe. Have you got money? That's my question to you. That's my question. Shane says Hala Madrid want to take Pogba and Mina. Want to take Pogba and Mina. Yeah, do you want Pogba? Hala Madrid, do you want Pogba? I think we can get a good fee for Pogba still. If Real Madrid are in for him. Actually, no, that's Real Madrid. Real Madrid, Juve, PSG, any one of the three. In a COVID market with 1 year left on his contract, 27, 28 years old, 80 mil? 70, 80 mil? I think we can get 70, 80 mil. I'll take that. Listen, Pogba's a great player, but he doesn't want to be here. So, we've got to move on, but get the right price. Don't just ship him off for 40 million. Because that's what Mino Raiola wants. He wants to ship him off cheap. Then he's going to take a big commission on his side when they're negotiating the fee. And no, we're going to get the value that we need, and you can agree whatever you want on your agent fee and that kind of stuff. But yeah, man. Yeah, Caicedo. I said there was talk about Renato Sanchez going to Liverpool. Would you take him at Man United? I know we tried to get him, as I said, back on the LVG. I think there was also rumors when we had Mourinho as well. Would you take him? I think no, not necessarily me. It depends on the price again. I haven't watched him enough at Lille, to be honest. I know that he had the talent. I know he did. But we've got Van der Beek. We've got Bruno. Pogba's here at the moment. We've got a number of midfielders, like central midfielders, people that go either box to box or attacking. I think we need to really look on the key areas, the key areas. If we're gonna get players in positions that say I already feel, they have to be very, very young. But if we're looking for, how old is Renato Sanchez these days? Because he did burst on the scene very young, so he is 23, 24 next year. Yeah, so he's not old. He's not old at all. Talented player, but he's more of a box-to-box / attacking midfielder, if I'm correct. No, not attacking, but I think it's more like a central midfielder, basically. Central midfielder. Yeah. Got 4 goals for Lille. No, not this season. So far, anyway. In 29 appearances. Yeah, I think he's an 8. He's an 8 anyway. So, yeah, I think if we're going to get players, we need to in those key positions. I'm not looking to just fill up the players with a big squad that players can't get game time and then they're pushing to move and that kind of stuff. Shane says, let's talk about Arsenal being crap. I mean, they're playing Man City today. I'm expecting them to get knocked out. in the Carabao Cup. I mean, I actually want Arsenal to win because for me, it will be an easier game if we do play them in a semis or final. If we can get through against Everton tomorrow. Newcastle lost to Brentford. Oh, so Newcastle are out. Kendall is going to be absolutely fuming. They put out a decent team as well. They had Callum Wilson, Almiron, Shelby. Yeah, they're pissed, man. They're pissed. Then got Arsenal, Man City. Then tomorrow, of course, Man United are playing Everton and Stoke against Spurs. And, obviously I want Stoke to go through that one as well. But Arsenal are done, man. Mikel Arteta, I can't see them win another game in 2020. They have got Man City today. They've got Chelsea on Boxing Day. And then they've got Brighton. I think the Brighton game is away from home. I can't see them winning it. As it stands right now, I can't see them winning it. That's the truth. Matias Fernandez. Hey, Neeks, amigo, what do you think of Phil Jones? Your favorite player, possibly linked to Derby, joining Ray and Rooney in his bedroom. Listen, let him go, please. Please. Phil Jones has to go. Has to go. Him and Marcus Rojo. Their wages are absolutely killing us. And let's see, the final comment, Real Madrid. Remember how earlier I said Arteta is more Pulis than Pep? Hey, the tapas Pulis. Yeah. I mean, he's done. The thing is, Arteta has a long career ahead of him. He's a young manager. He's already won a trophy. Like that, you can't take that. You can't take that from him. That's done. But this job at Arsenal is way too big for him. Way too big. Doesn't mean he can't coach. Doesn't mean he can't be a good manager in the future. But it's like, as I speak about bringing in young players and throwing them right in the deep end and them sinking. He should have gone. And you can't turn down Arsenal. I think it's a job that you just take because you may never get another opportunity. But it's also a risk because now he's going to have to go away and build his reputation, which is what he should have done in the first place. He needs to go into a championship club or at best a lower league Premier League club or abroad. Spain, mid-table club there. Scotland, like Steven Gerrard's over in Rangers, for example. He needed to do something else other than Arsenal. And it's not just in terms of Arsenal being a big club. Yeah, I did think he used to play for Rangers in a couple of years. It's not about Arsenal being a big club. That's one thing. But it's also the fact that Arsenal have so much problems internally that for a manager so young, for him to have to deal with all the on-field and off-field issues, the likes of, Ozil situations and their transfer policies, etc. That's a lot for one man. He went from head coach to manager in about 6 months. That's too much pressure. They got people changing upstairs, Raul Sanelli and Edu and all these Mislintat, V9, all these people going in and out of the board upstairs, and he has to go in and just manage everything at Arsenal. Too much for him. And he's sinking. He's sinking like a ship. The rumor is that they're going to stick by him. I hope they do, because I hope they go down. I think if he stays in at Arsenal whole season, he will be relegated. But I don't think Arsenal will be relegated, because it will get to a point where it's like, yeah, guys, we actually have to sack him. It's gone on too long. I think that's what's going to happen. I can't see it. I can't see him lasting the season. What? And finish 17th, survive on the last day, and we say we go again in the summer. Yeah, I hope they keep him, but I think he's a dead man walking. It's only a matter of time, in my opinion. I think he'll lose the next 3 games, and he'll have a horror new year down at the job centre. Hala Madrid says, Kendall surely has to hate Simeone too, right? What's the difference? It's a good question. I might answer that, actually. I'm going to answer that when I get off the stream. Because I was asking about why she doesn't like Bruce, and she's talking about the style of play, etc. So it'll be interesting to see what she thinks about Simeone, especially when you consider they've got better quality players than Newcastle do. Early this season, Zidane was more Allardyce than Ancelotti. Real Madrid are pulling back a little bit in the league, aren't they? And I think Atletico's got 2 games in hand. Oh, they're playing now. Atletico are playing Real Sociedad now. Somewhat of a not top of a table clash, but near the top. First place, third. Atletico, as it stands, before this game, they had 2 games in hand, level on points, so they could go 6 points clear of Real Madrid. Real Madrid are in second, and Real Sociedad in third on 27 points. Barcelona, before this game, were 8 points behind Atletico. They're not winning the league. But Real Madrid, I think they've pulled back a bit. Got through the Champions League group, and they've won a few games in the league. Benzema becoming the leading scorer of any French player outside the Ligue 1, passing Thierry Henry's record for Arsenal. Regarding Arteta, Matthias Fernandez says, regarding potentially will be a great manager, but the job at his hands is massive, and he needed the players on side to fight for him. But everything is crumbling slowly. I do feel sorry for them. I don't feel sorry for anyone to do it around Arsenal. I'll tell you that for a fact. I love it, but it happens, innit? The Moises Caicedo is a 90-minute player in Ecuadorian first team during South American qualifiers. That is very good to know. Troop said, my manager when they beat us 1-0. And then 2 to 3 weeks later, he said to Zah, yeah, I see it. That's your manager. Yeah, Zah standing on the bar stool, literally. Arsenal are entertainment, but I do genuinely feel for them. They deserve better. They don't. Atletico are going to finish third behind us and Barca. I hope Atletico win it. I like to see an underdog in leagues that I don't support a team. I like to see something change up. Neeks, what's your thoughts on us possibly wanting Trippier? I'm not against that. I think he offers something different, especially going forward, than Aaron Wan-Bissaka. The other option at right back we've been playing Brandon Williams and Fosu Mensah. Fosu Mensah's done. He ain't got nothing to offer us. Brandon Williams, the jury's out on Brandon Williams. Young player still. The jury's out. But Aaron Wan-Bissaka's young as well. So where does Brandon Williams fit in? At least if you get in a Trippier, he's more experienced. How old is Trippier now? What, 28? Oh, it's 30. He's 30 now. Just turned 30. So that's experience. Aaron Wan-Bissaka is young. Brandon Williams is young. How does Brandon Williams make a career at Manchester United with Aaron Wan-Bissaka there? Aaron Wan-Bissaka is 23, just turned. Brandon Williams is what, 20? Yeah, just turned 20. He's 3 years younger. For me, he's going to be second choice to Aaron Wan-Bissaka forever. So I don't know where he fits in at Manchester United. I'm not going to lie. Joe Felix is a baller. Yes, Diego Simeone is on par with Klopp. Completely disagree with that. Klopp is the best manager in the world. It is what it is. He should not have won the FIFA award though. Hansi Flick should have won that, but he's the best. Manny's saying, yes, Neeks, more sensible fan on the terrace. That Tottenham guy was so deluded the other day saying Tottenham are too big for the Carabao. And actually, what's his name? Not her name. Elena, she was on the football dugout yesterday. Spurs fan. And she was also saying that if they win the Carabao Cup, it's not success. And I'm sitting there, I wasn't on the dugout. And I'm like, how dare you? It is success for you because you ain't won the trophies in 2008. So you better take it. I'm not saying take it and run, but you take it and then you move on. You can't say, oh yeah, the Premier League. Because that's the kind of notion that Pochettino was pushing. That the cup competitions were foolish and he was only interested in Premier League and Champions League. And now he went 5 years and they didn't win one trophy. So you better take that, innit? Neeks United would have done damage this. Yeah, man. So I'm gutted we didn't go through in the Champions League, man, because we were dangerous. We saw what we did to Leipzig and PSG in the first game. We should have beat PSG in the second. We bottled it against Leipzig. But I think we can beat a lot of teams. And the teams across Europe, other than Bayern Munich and Liverpool, aren't that strong. They're there to be beaten. I'm not going to lie, but it is what it is. And as I said, if we're in a race, like if it's a tight race for top 4 or a tight race for the title. Us being in the Europa League, I think, will help because, granted, we're going to play Sunday, so it often means we're playing after, so we're reacting to results. We can play our weak team in the Europa League. I think you can't. The Europa League is only there to qualify for Champions League. So if we're in a position where we're like trying to push for the title, you rest up in the Europa League, you go full throttle in the Premier League. If you're in the Premier League and the Champions League, you have to play both your strongest teams in both. Of course, you might get locked out straight away. Then you got a lot of free midweeks, but you have to play your best team in both because it's a major competition. Tottenham need to take what they can get and be grateful. I agree. These Spurs fans are hilarious. The owner bought Mourinho for a Carabao Cup. They did. A Carabao Cup, FA Cup, Europa League, anything. A league and Champions League is a pipe dream. Any cup competition we'll have to do. Please can we stop this league title talk until we play our next 4 fixtures, which are defined in 100%. Listen, I'm saying if, innit? We're talking about if. I said if we get to a position where we're challenging for the title. We're not challenging for the title right now. Our aim is still top 4. We have to match Liverpool's results up until that Liverpool fixture. So we go into that Liverpool fixture, potentially having all played the same amount of games. We have a potential of going ahead of them by beating them. Now, I can't see us beating Liverpool at Anfield anyway, but it means that even if we were to lose that game, we'd only be 5 points behind, which means you're still within, touching distance. If we go into that Liverpool game, say 5 points behind, having played the same amount, and then we lose it, and you go 8 points behind, done, finished. So 100% I agree. The next 3 fixtures for me tells me whether we're in the title race. We have to match Liverpool's results between now and before that Liverpool game. So, but they've got fixtures like West Brom, Newcastle, and Southampton. I'm expecting 9 points. At best, I can hope for 7. We've got Leicester, Wolves, Aston Villa. I hope for 9 points, but realistically, we might get 7. So they might pull a further 2 points ahead of us, and then they beat us in the Northwest Derby, and they go 7 points clear. That's too much to catch Liverpool. I'm not gonna lie. But right now, no. Right now, we're not in a title race. But mid-January, we could be, or we could be completely out of it. We have to wait and see. But guys, I'm gonna go and enjoy as much as I can. Arsenal losing because they're playing Man City. It's a win-win for me. It's a win-win. If Arsenal lose, then it's banter. Banter. Hopefully they get battered if they lose. If they win, then I'm good. I'm happy because a weaker team is through to the next round. Yes, guys, let me finish. Let me land. Let me speak. Big up all yourselves. Yes, Charlie. You say it wasn't aimed directly at me. That's fine. That's cool. Not a problem. But make sure you hit the like button, everyone. Smash the like button right now. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. And I will see you very, very soon. The podcast, hopefully we can record a podcast this week, which will be out on Christmas Day. So I have to chat to Ramsey about that, who hosts the podcast. But I will see you lot soon. Peace.